Thursday of the second week in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the first book of Samuel. When David and Saul approached, on David's return after slaying the Philistine, women came out from each of the cities of Israel to meet King Saul, singing and dancing with tambourines, joyful songs, and sistrums. The women played and sang, "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s." Saul was very angry and resentful of the song, for he thought, "They give David 10,000s, but only thousands to me. All that remains for him is the kingship." And from that day on, Saul was jealous of David. Saul discussed his intention of killing David with his son Jonathan and with all his servants. But Saul's son Jonathan, who was very fond of David, told him, "My father Saul is trying to kill you. Therefore, please be on your guard tomorrow morning. Get out of sight and remain in hiding. I, however, will go out and stand beside my father in the countryside where you are, and will speak to him about you. If I learn anything, I will let you know." Jonathan then spoke well of David to his father Saul, saying to him, "Let not your majesty sin against his servant David, for he has committed no offense against you, but has helped you very much by his deeds. When he took his life in his hands and slew the Philistine, and the Lord brought about a great victory for all Israel through him, you were glad to see it. Why then should you become guilty of shedding innocent blood by killing David without cause?" Saul heeded Jonathan's plea and swore, "As the Lord lives, he shall not be killed." So Jonathan summoned David and repeated the whole conversation to him. Jonathan then brought David to Saul, and David served him as before. The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm, the response is, "In God I trust, I shall not fear. Have mercy on me, O God, for men trample upon me. All the day they press their attack against me. My adversaries trample upon me all the day. Yes, many fight against me. In God I trust, I shall not fear. My wanderings you have counted. My tears are stored in your flask. Are they not recorded in your book? Then do my enemies turn back when I call upon you. In God I trust, I shall not fear. Now I know that God is with me, in God in whose promise I glory. In God I trust without fear. What can flesh do against me? In God I trust, I shall not fear. I am bound, O God, by vows to you. Your thank offerings I will fulfill. You have rescued me from death, my feet too from stumbling, that I may walk before God in the light of the living. In God I trust, I shall not fear.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus withdrew toward the sea with his disciples. A large number of people followed from Galilee and from Judea. Hearing what he was doing, a large number of people came to him also from Jerusalem, from Idumea, from beyond the Jordan, and from the neighborhood of Tyre and Sidon. He told his disciples to have a boat ready for him because of the crowd, so that they would not crush him. He had cured many, and as a result, those who had diseases were pressing upon him to touch him. And whenever unclean spirits saw him, they would fall down before him and shout, "You are the Son of God." He warned them sternly not to make him known. The Gospel of the Lord.
The first reading comes from 1 Samuel 18, 6-9, and 19, 1-7. David has been anointed as the new king of Israel while Saul is still reigning. Now up to this point, the Israelites had been governed by judges and then by Saul the king, and each ruler was chosen charismatically, It wasn't a question of the son inheriting the throne of the father or the responsibility of the father. In fact, at one time during the time of the judges that occurred, there was difficulties and that man was rejected. In this particular case, we hear that Saul intends to kill David. He's paranoid, he's a megalomaniac, he wants to get rid of David, and so he plots to have him put to death. But Jonathan tries to sabotage that because Jonathan has made a covenant with David, a covenant of friendship. And therefore, he spies on his own father and tries to convince his own father that David has done nothing wrong. And in fact, he manages to convince Saul not to attack David, at least at this time. Other times Saul will try to kill David, for example, throwing a javelin at him during a dinner party, almost pinning him to the wall, for example, chasing him and his followers out into the desert. The Gospel is from Mark 3, 7-12. We've been hearing about how Jesus performed various miracles, and a large number of people follow him to listen to him to see what he's doing. Not only Jewish people, though, people from Galilee and Judea, but also from Tyre and Sidon and the other side of the Jordan. These would be pagans. So the message is that not only are Jewish people following Jesus, his fame has reached out beyond the kingdom of Israel to the Gentiles. What do the demons say when Jesus comes along? You are the Son of God. Now in the Old Testament, the phrase Son of God simply meant hero. Prophets were sons of God, kings were sons of God. But in the New Testament, this term is being applied to Jesus in a special way. We heard it in verse 1 of this gospel. We hear it here, where spiritual entities, demons, are able to recognize the true identity of Jesus. And then we hear it again at the cross, when the centurion, a pagan, is able to identify Jesus as the Son of God. And that's significant because if it had been a Jew who said that Jesus was the Son of God, it would simply have been saying that he was a hero. But a centurion is a pagan. Pagans believe that their gods have children. Therefore, when a pagan says that Jesus is the Son of God, it means what we believe about the Son of God in our days. And may God bless us.